welcome those in attendance to the Board of Public Works and Safety meeting for August 25th, 2022. Roll call, please.
Mr. Margaret.
Here.
Mr. Lund.
Here.
Mr. Perez.
Any conflict of interest statements?
No, sir.
No. Approval of the minutes of the meeting of August 18th, 2022.
Make a recommendation to approve those minutes.
Now concur. There are no bid openings. Matters from department heads or their representatives. Seeing none, hearing none. Moving along to correspondence. Item A. Item A. Correspondence received from Chief of Police William Short requesting the approval for Officer Lindsey Fritz to receive ET specialty pay retroactive to July 25th, 2022. Officer Kyle Wagers to receive ET specialty pay retroactive to July 29th, 2022. Officer Ryan Zurich was transferred to a traffic unit and will no longer be receiving ET specialty pay effective August 11th, 2022, submitting the resignation of Correctional Officer Alan Paz, effective the closing date of August 16th, 2022.
Make a recommendation to approve Chief Short's request.
And I'll concur. This is the largest item I've ever had to read as a board member. Item B. Correspondence received from Fire Chief Jeffrey Smith submitting the letter of retirement for Engineer Jeremy Pence, who has served the citizens of Hammond for 21 years effective September 9th, 2022. Recommending the promotion of Engineer John Boykin to be promoted to the rank of Senior Captain and Private Sam Maharis to be promoted to the rank of Engineer retroactive to July 31st, 2022. Promotions of probationary firefighters Samuel Gallardo and Brandon Gracia to private firefighters retroactive to August 9th, 2022. And the reassignments of Assistant Engineer Joseph Sinclair be promoted to the rank of Engineer retroactive to August 2nd, 2022. EMT 1P Mark Ramaska to be reassigned to the rank of Private Paramedic retroactive to July 26th, 2022. EMT 2 Riddell Gonzalez be promoted to the rank of EMT 1, retroactive July 26, 2022. EMT 1 Colin Andrisco be reassigned to the rank of EMT 2, retroactive to July 26, 2022. EMT 1 Sylvester Davis be reassigned to the rank of private, and EMT 2P Paramedic Aaron Arroyo be promoted to the rank of EMT 1P, both retroactive to July 26, 2022. EMT 2 Alex Burdine be reassigned to the rank of private, retroactive to July 24th, 2022. EMT 2P Omar Gonzalez be promoted to the rank of EMT 1P, retroactive to July 26, 2022. Private Richard Madsen be promoted to the rank of EMT 2, retroactive to July 24th, 2022. Private Paramedic Bruce Sapinski be promoted to the rank of EMT 2P, retroactive to July 26, 2022. Probationary Brandon Gracia be promoted to the rank of EMT 2, retroactive to August 9th, 2022. And lastly, Assistant Engineer Juan Gonzalez be promoted to the rank of Engineer effective September 10th, 2022.
Does anybody need that read again? I will recommend we approve Chief Smith's request.
I'll concur. Good. Item C, correspondence received from City Engineer Dean Button recommending to allow School City of Hammond staff at Burns Hicks and Kenwood schools to place temporary barriers on Tapper Avenue, Woodward Avenue, and Moraine Avenue on school days during arrival and dismissal for 90-day trial period. Yes, thank you.
I had asked if it is possible for those on
online or who can see the TV, if our folks from IT could share the slides that I have prepared for the board for today. Good morning to the board. Morning. If we can't, I've given the board a copy of some figures. So thank you very much. There's the first figure showing. So prior to the dismissal of school for the year last year, Councilman Tyler and the school city of Hammond came to the engineering department and asked us, could we look into the problems that we're dealing with traffic at former Maywood School, now Burns Hicks Elementary School, and Kenwood Elementary School. Kenwood, the school city petitioned the Board of Public Works and Safety to make Moraine one way. We asked that you not do that, and you give us an opportunity to take a look at that. So prior to dismissal of school for the year, we had First Group Engineering take a look at these conditions. And as you can see on the first figure, these are the traffic movements that we see on, so we're at Burns Hicks, or Maywood School formerly, the area on the west side of the school. And you can see by color code the direction that these cars follow through when they're coming. And it's basically a mess, right? You got cars coming from Cleveland, coming up from the south, and I'm sorry, one's Crescent and one's Woodward, I think. And so they're crossing over throughout that area. So we met with the school city of Hammond, and they have taken this under consideration and have asked the city to petition the Board of Public Works and Safety to make a change that would add a barrier temporarily during arrival and dismissal every day, similar to changes in traffic patterns that are done at a private school off of Columbia Avenue, St. John Bosco. So the school sort of takes control of the street, puts a barrier up, and those cars are not allowed to cross at that pinch point right on Woodward, just west of the school. So if you look at slide 2, if the IT department could move forward one slide, you can see that there's a proposed traffic diverter to be installed there, and then those cars coming from the south or would leave to the south. The cars coming from the north and from the west would leave to the north and the west, and so they wouldn't mix and cause this congestion that happens right at that pinch point. And they've agreed to that. They like the idea, but they're going to need a little bit of time to sort of get prepared for this, right? So we think that round about after the Labor Day holiday, we might be able to get this in place. And so we're asking you for a 90-day trial, but that trial wouldn't start until after we can get this situation set up.
And the cost for this is going to be borne by the school city, right?
Yeah, and it's really just a portable barrier, right? I mean, it's,
These,
they're
the ones you have a picture of here?
the picture in the report, which I provided to the law department, they're just portable barriers. They can move out into the street temporarily, and if there's any sort of problem, they'll attend to letting cars through if there's a problem, like at the onset, because we sort of expect that people are going to have to get used to this situation, right?
Apparently, yes, they will.
So the other reason for holding off until after Labor Day is we need to notify the residents in the area that we're doing this, right? We sort of want them to be aware before, and so they're not surprised. Or what are you guys doing over there? So we need some time to notify the residents as we're preparing a letter, making sure that if the mayor would like it to go under his signature, that we'll do that. If not, it'll come from my department.
I mean,
Go ahead, sorry, go ahead.
no, I'm just going to say it's certainly going to help with the safety of the children, without question, right?
Well, if you have a chance to read the report, this is also the same point where children and parents cross the street, right? And so you got cars and children and parents and they all sort of, probably at dismissal is the worst because they all line up ahead of time, kind of like what happens over here at Edison School. We made that change last year, no parking on the south side. That congestion just all happens right before dismissal, and then they let the kids out, and so at arrival they sort of come and go, so it's not as bad, but but we want this to be a consistent policy that we're doing.
Do you happen to know, is it for sure starting on that Tuesday, the 6th of September? Do we know that for sure?
Not for sure.
Okay.
So I have
When-
to,
Okay, when you know, or when somebody knows, if they could just let us know, because the first couple of days for morning and afternoon sessions, I'd like to have some squads out there to kind of help with making sure it goes well the first couple of days.
that'd be awesome.
So whenever you know that, that's all I'd ask for, so.
Sure. So the second area I don't have a slide for, it is the east side of Burns Hicks Elementary School. And what happens at dismissal is cars line up southbound on Tapper on both sides of the street, right? They're queuing southbound on both sides. And two of the three school buses go north on Tapper. And so when kids get in the car, they want to go south, and the buses want to go north. They just can't get through at all. And so about a year ago, the school city had a median placed between the north approach to the school and Tapper and the sort of the south or the west, the east approach to the school off of Howard. I think it's 164th place. I'm probably wrong. But where that came together, there was a median and cars couldn't cross. You had to go south on Tapper into the school parking lot and back out again. Well, they took that out. And now cars are free to go both ways. Well, we sort of want to temporarily blockade that off. And really, where there's a gate, there's a slide gate that the school has. Mm-hmm. If they close that slide gate, that would prevent that congestion from happening on that side of the street, right? The buses, we've talked to them, they've talked to their bus transport people and said, we'll take the buses out to Howard so we don't have that conflict. And then southbound Tapper can go down Cleveland, and if you're past Cleveland, you have to go down the alley, which is not preferred, but that would sort of prevent that northbound traffic congesting the southbound movements. Right. So that's our expectation. We want to try to do a 90-day trial. If this is a disaster, right, we want to pull it and say, we got to look at something different. If there's a long-term solution to this, then we'll make that determination at that time.
What about Kenwood School?
Kenwood School will be the next one. So if you could go to the third slide, please. Kenwood School, we told the school, whoever set this program up for picking up children did a very good job, right? The consultant said they queue the child for the parent, and the parents come up, pick the child up, and they just, Sally Smith, Brandon Hughes, and the parents come up and collect them, and it goes really well. But the same sort of condition occurs where those two driveway entrances are. At Kenwood School, you can see right at the entranceway, the midpoint between the north and south end of the school, there's the entranceway. If you extend that out to Moraine, it separates two parking lots, right? And that's the primary point of congestion. The other point of congestion is really that south end on Moraine, right? And so we have all this happening. Moraine is only 24 feet wide, so if you park on one side, you only have enough room for a car to go the other direction, and that's the problem. So the long-term solution to Moraine would be to widen the street, right? And we think that won't be a large amount of money to do that. It's still probably in the $400,000 worth of work.
Vehicles here, they're not going to be able to go both directions, right? The southernmost parking lot, they're going to pull in from the south and come back out the north and go to 165th?
So on this slide, what they're doing is they're coming in and they're trying to go north, and sometimes they go south, and that's a mess.
Right.
So if you could advance to the next slide, we want to put a barrier between the two driveway entrances at the midpoint of the school. So south only goes south.
I just got a point real quick, because
Sure.
are we doing some construction on 165th and State Line, where there's one lane?
Yeah, the Illinois, Well City
doing
is
that.
resurfacing the intersection, yes, sir.
Okay, because that may be an issue with getting traffic out of their southbound.
That should be done soon. It's
Okay.
a
Okay, I didn't know what the
simple
timeframe.
resurface.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, there is a problem with the right-hand eastbound lane.
Yeah.
at 165th. I'm hoping that the work that Cal City's doing will sort of take care of that. If not, I've got a contractor ready to,
Because it's been backing up all the way past Holman and 165th.
well, during
to light,
construction, no
yeah.
question. But if you're eastbound on on
Okay,
River Oaks
eastbound.
Drive,
Yeah,
in
eastbound.
the right-hand lane, there's
Gotcha.
a jump in the road. Now that Cal City's resurfacing that intersection, thankfully, that condition may go away. If it doesn't, then I have a contractor ready to make repairs to the road. So the school city likes this, right? The congestion part that I'm most concerned about is the south end of Moraine, because
Right.
the road's not wide enough. We got cars trying to get in and cars leaving at the same time, and so there's gonna be some frustration. So we would wanna do the same thing like we did at Edison School, where we post a sign that says, no parking on school days,
Gotcha.
between the hours of 2:30 and 3:30.
On both sides, or just, not
Just-
the residential side, the school side?
Well, it'd be the residential side.
Residential side.
Yeah, I mean, the school side's striped no parking now,
Gotcha.
but for the temporary period during dismissal, they sort of need to have that clear so the traffic can get out, right, until we can get this roadway widened. So we think this is a good idea. We're asking the board if you'd take this under consideration, if you want to rule on it today, if you want to take a look at it and be more familiar with it, I'm okay with that too, so as we have some time, but we're sort of headed in this direction.
No, man, I think, let's try and get it done and see. Let's try and get it done, man, and we'll see what the trial.
The school city's on board, they just need time to gear up.
Sure.
Yeah, I think
What
so
do you
too. The only thing I'm a little concerned about is 90-day trial. It seems like a long time if it is a mess. But I guess if it is a mess, we can revisit it, right?
Yeah, I mean, no question, right, this is all very temporary, right? We're temporarily, if it doesn't work, we'll just not pull barricades out in the
30 days,
street and,
it's an issue, yeah, we'll probably have to make.
and we
changes.
could reduce the time to
Well,
a,
it's
to a
okay, as long as
30-day.
you're okay with revisiting if it's an issue. that's all.
Absolutely. If
Okay.
it's an issue, we'll pull it immediately.
Okay.
I think you'll find this is a good thing, though.
Good.
Okay, then I'm going to make a recommendation to approve Mr. Button's request.
And I'll concur.
Thank you.
Thank you. Correspondence received requesting a rental registration hearing.
Okay, I'm going to make a recommendation to set that for September 15th, 2022.
I'll concur. Okay. Number 8, matters from board members.
No, sir?
Nothing. Okay.
Nope.
Item 9, new business. Letter A, request for advertising dates of September 1st, 2022 and September 8th, 2022, with a bid opening of September 29th, 2022 for the Wildwood Drive closure project submitted for approval.
Board opened bids for state line closures earlier this year, and they came in way over budget. And so we were asked by the administration to break this up into individual projects and hopefully to be something that where we can make progress, at least in the neighborhood.
Sure.
And so we'd ask for the board's approval to advertise the Wildwood street closure construction project.
Okay, I will make a recommendation to approve the advertising dates along with the bid opening date.
And I will concur.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item B, a resolution authorizing the City of Hammond to transfer property located at 5111 Calumet Avenue to the Hammond Redevelopment Commission with corresponding agreement and quit claim deed submitted for approval. Pretty straightforward. Oh,
I'm just here, trying to help out. 5101 is the parcel that the gentleman came by to the board several weeks ago asking about how does he connect a sewer.
Right.
So this is the property immediately south of that. There's a vacant lot between that building that's right next to the Grand Cal and the corner of Michigan. And so generally these properties get transferred to the Redevelopment Commission for disposition.
Okay. Good.
Yep.
Okay, then I will make a recommendation to approve the resolution.
And I'll concur. Item C, notice to owners of affected property received from the Advisory Board of Zoning Appeals. It appears as though this is just for the board's acknowledgement, and there's no action by the board needed. Item D, right-of-way permit submitted for approval.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
It's an easy right-of-way day.
Easy right-of-way day.
Basically, that's just a relocation of a pole removal, but I wanted to give you an update on 73rd and Lyman.
Please.
Yes.
I know you're very interested in it. So what the problem was, when they got into 173rd, the water main did not have a casing on. So they have to cut it and put a casing, which is a pipe, and run it through. And there's also a 36-inch pipe in the past, we're trying to figure out whose it was. They have to go and remove all that. So that was the issue with the time extension.
Okay.
But they are moving, the dust issue should be taken care of. We've been dealing with that, Dean and I.
Sure.
And kind of, they're getting water trucks and so forth.
Yeah,
And
I've seen
Mr.
it.
Novak
Yeah.
is aware of that. So I would recommend approval of the measly one right-of-way permit.
All right.
Just a quick, 173rd, so when's the expected date to be finished?
September 30th.
September 30th, okay.
Yes.
Get a lot of questions about that.
Oh, I know, I am too. We are, all are, so
Okay,
appreciate that, thank you.
thank you, Mark. I will make a recommendation to approve the right-of-way permit.
And I'll concur. Garage sale permit submitted for approval.
And this one looks like
I'm feeling a little melancholia because knowing it's gonna take till September 30th to get Lyman and 173rd Street done.
it affected me last night,
Good.
so,
Did it?
yes. Stopped me from going to dinner last night.
Check.
Okay. I will make a recommendation to approve the garage sale permits.
Oh, and I'll concur. Waiting for Johnny. Do it. Okay, item 10, old business. Item A, status, handicap parking at 5343 Columbia Avenue. And Mr. Tyler, you're going to have some input as well, possibly? Councilman? He's just on the speak. Okay. Okay. We had asked, I had asked Gary Gleason yesterday if Derry Gibson could, from Public Works, who handles the handicap sign issues for Public Works, could come up and give us a little background and history as to how some residents get these.
All the residents cannot have a driveway in order to get a handicap parking space. We only have a few circumstances where they do have a driveway, and that circumstance would be if they are a tenant and they're renting from their landlord, the landlord has to submit a letter stating that they live there, but they cannot use their driveway. We have a few of those.
Okay.
Other than that, most of them are all legitimate without driveways. We have a few where some of them have where it's like a shared driveway, but they can't use the driveway, which is very far and in between. Other than that, all of them are really without driveways that have handicap signs. And we did go through the city. We had a few that I guess was discussed. For instance, was one on 833 Merrill. I went there, there's no sign there. The sign is for 835 Merrill, which is legitimate because they do not have a driveway. And we had one on Jefferson, I think Mr. Perez went to that one, and it's not the person's driveway, it's the person's next door. He went and talked to that person. But like I said, all of them that we do are all inspected before we put up the signs and stuff, to make sure that they don't have driveway, or if we need additional information, as I stated, if they're a tenant and the landlord won't let them park there, that they have to bring in this information to us. We have none that have a driveway without any other circumstances at all throughout the city.
So the one on Jefferson, is that sign still there?
No, that one, Now, I don't even know how that happened, it was way
Okay.
before my time, but I went after work just to check it out.
Sure.
And when I saw it and stuff, I brought it back to Mr. Gleason and to Mr. Perez. I gave him my thoughts on it. I told him, I said, that sign should not be there and stuff. I called the resident, I explained to him and stuff, you know, we gotta take that sign down because you do not qualify for a handicap parking sign.
Okay.
And we took it down the very next day.
I mean, we had a lady that was in here, was it last week or 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
You know, she was explaining her situation to us, 5800 block of Columbia Avenue. She has a driveway, it's not a very long driveway, but her difficulty is being able to back out of her driveway because of the traffic on Columbia Avenue. Me personally, I don't think that's a special circumstance, me personally. Would you have an opinion on something like that?
I wouldn't think so, because if we open up that, then we're gonna have a lot of people doing the same thing where I can't back out, this, that, or the other and stuff, you know? And then we're gonna have handicap signs throughout the whole city. We're gonna be back and forth to these meetings and stuff because people are gonna be trying to fight to get them put up where they shouldn't be put up at.
Right.
So I don't, me personally, you asking me?
I'm just
I don't-
asking your opinion.
I don't think it would be wise. Because we're opening up a can of worms for the whole city of Hammond.
Mr. Long, any questions from you?
No, that's kind of our same feeling. We spoke about this morning, and the problem is we would just like to have a set of rules, like this is what's necessary to get it, this is what's necessary to keep it, kind of thing. And now, after speaking with you today, I think I understand the rules now, so.
We do have rules, because when they call in, we let them know exactly, like I can recite it in my sleep, but we do have a form when they come in, we let them know what the criterias are, what they need to have when they come into our office for it to be approved and all that. We do have the property assessed and stuff. After that, then I go through all the other channels, I have to do the locates and all that kind of stuff. So we do have process of what has to be done. We have a process what they need to do every 2 years to get it renewed and stuff. And also, I may add too, if I get someone that calls in and just say, oh, Joe Blow has a sign there or whatever and stuff, you know, I check it out. I don't just pull it. I check it out first. If I don't get an answer from the resident, I call the water department to see if they still have service there and stuff. If they say yes, and if it's only like 2 months out, I'll wait because I do have to send out renewal letters.
Sure.
If they don't come in that base time frame of renewing, then I pull it. But I don't just go and pull them just because you came and told me, you know. I
Right.
do check it out and stuff, you know. It's a lot of work and money for the city to take them up and down too if it's not correct.
So residential disabled parking sign instructions, this is probably what you recited it, some of it. This is probably what you guys go by, right?
Yes,
And so Mr. Long and I were talking about this before the meeting this morning. It's number 3. It says, "No applicant who has access to off-street parking at his or her place of residence will be granted a residential disabled parking space."
correct,
Right?
correct.
Okay. I mean, it doesn't say anything about special circumstances, but I know Mr. Gleason told me yesterday in conversation, he's gone out and looked at some of these same properties that you have, the ones with special circumstances, and he understood their, I don't want to say it was an argument coming back to him, but he said, I understand, and obviously they were granted.
Yeah, we have very
They were
few of
granted.
those, but yes, but like I said, there are certain circumstances, you know, like I said, the ones that, you know, can't park because of the landlord and, you know, a few like that. Not a lot of them. Most of ours, I would say at least 98% of ours are just a straightforward, regular handicap parking spaces.
Yeah, that's why it's tough.
Councilman Tyler, you got anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, just to clarify a question, because I know that, I think Gary told me that there's an address in the 11th block of King Street that has a driveway, not 11th block, sorry, no, it is 11th block. It has a driveway as well as a handicap parking sign, and he was granted that, gentleman living there was granted that because there were trucks, like on the other side of the street, I think connected to a business, and so it made it hard for him to back out of his driveway. And I guess my thought is, just once again, just want to make this process equitable, that if you are granting that, under that circumstance, with that gentleman, just wonder how we're saying no to somebody who really has the
add to that? If I'm not mistaken, I'm not really sure what Mr. Gleason had spoke about, but I know he had went out to the one on Eaton. And from my understanding, the thing of it was with that one in particular is because the person has a handicapped vehicle and the vehicle does not fit in the driveway. I guess might have a lift or
Is
something.
that the one with the vans too wide to
Yes.
go between the houses?
Right,
so
because the person, I guess, has a lift or whatever. I'm not sure.
had the
you know,
lifts
but
in the
that.
back of the van or something?
Yes, and so that one was granted because of the vehicle being too wide by it being a handicapped
Right.
vehicle.
I think he did mention that.
Yes, you know, because he went out, because I had someone call in on that, and if I'm not mistaken, it was July 22nd. I asked him to go double check that one for me, and on that date, he did check it, and he spoke to the homeowner at that time, and that was the reason for that particular one, because the vehicle was too wide for the driveway to get the handicapped person out of the house.
Got it. That makes a lot more sense.
Yes, that's the reason why for that.
Okay.
Yes.
What I do think, though, is I kind of agree with Councilman Tyler, is that it's impossible to know every circumstance, obviously, but the ones that we know of, can those be listed somewhere? Can somebody get access to, hey, if you do need one, this is the only thing that we'll consider? Or is that putting us in jeopardy if we start doing that?
Start doing that, then people obviously know what circumstances they have to meet. That could be a good thing, that could be a bad thing.
I agree with you.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Because in all actuality, especially when you talk about the landlord, I mean, because, you know, we know how people are. Because they say, well, if I get a letter from my landlord, oh, I'll talk to my landlord,
Absolutely,
you know, so
yes,
that's open.
yes.
And we don't have that many cases that we have a problem with. When we do have them and we go out and inspect and we'll let them know what's going on and what the reason why they can't, 9 times out of 10, we don't even have a problem with them anymore. They're okay with it. So I would kind of say, kind of leave it like it is for right now and stuff, because if we had hundreds of cases like that, then it would be something that I think we should put in writing. But at this point, since we have so few, I think we're doing a very good job with leaving it as it is for right now.
I agree with you, so thank you.
Okay.
Anything
Thank you.
further, Councilman? Councilman Tyler?
Yes. Last question. So is this process going to stay with Gary and his team, or is it being transferred over to you at Board of Works?
You mean the decision, Councilman?
Correct. The decision making.
Yes, it'll come over to the Board of Works now.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Just want to clarify that.
All right, thank you for your time, sir. Derek, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Denisa Walker says hello, by the way.
Who?
Denisa Walker.
I said hi. One of my classmates.
Just for additional evidence for the board to consider, I did look at the width of the driveway for that particular residence, and it's only about 7.5 feet wide. And the driveway is right up against the house, so it makes it sort of complicated for anyone to access the car from the driveway with the house and the limited width of driveway. I sort of sympathize with the woman who's wheelchair bound that has to get into her car from the grass into the car. So with that limited driveway width, that complicates things too.
So you're talking about Eaton, right?
I'm talking about 5843 Columbia.
Columbia, okay. So deny it.
I got more questions than,
Well, the problem is the human side of you wants to do something, but you gotta know that it's gonna,
yeah, I'm ready.
I think I am too.
Okay, do it.
Okay, then I'm going to make a recommendation to deny the handicap parking at 5843 Columbia Avenue.
And I'll concur. Item 11, rental registration hearings. Number 1, 428 Kenwood, 4-unit. Right this way, sir. Good morning.
Morning.
So, 428 through 30 Kenwood, listed under the ownership of Ellerman's Group LLC since November 19th of 2020. We are here for a 4-unit property for 2022. The property was registered in 2021, and appropriate documentation was submitted to account for the 2 months in 20. So Mr. Ellerman, I believe, is here just for 2022 being late.
Okay, and so you've owned the property since November of November of 20?
Correct, and I wasn't aware that I have to register the tenants
every
every year, because the tenants haven't changed. So if somebody would have moved out last year, for example, or earlier this year, I would have come and say, oh, in whatever apartment 2E, I have a new resident.
Gotcha.
But since that didn't happen, I wasn't aware that I have to do it annually.
I'm sure Nick's made you aware now, though, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it's something, obviously, sir, that needs to be done on a yearly basis, anywhere from January 1st to April 15th of every year.
I mean, it takes 5 minutes to do it, and it's
Right.
$20. It's not about that. It's just really, I didn't know.
Okay.
And that's
Okay.
just basically the honest answer.
Okay, I'm going to make a recommendation to waive the late fees for 2022. And sir, if you want to stand by to the end of the meeting, you can register today.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, great. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You got to concur. Yeah.
Oh, did I concur?
No.
Oh. I did.
You did? Oh, okay,
Yeah, I concur.
okay. She was giving me the you didn't concur thing.
Okay, 2242 White Oak Avenue. Okay, I believe she picked up on that.
All right, so 2242 White Oak is a 2-unit property under the ownership of the Bubash family. I believe Leonard and Austin are the listed owners?
Yes.
Okay. So they took over ownership of the property
April of 20.
April 20, there you go. It's been owned by the family since actually it was a 4-unit in 2012. That's the first conversion that I did was this property, working as an inspector, so it's pretty cool. It's a 2-unit property. We're here for 2022 only. They've registered on time previous years.
Okay.
Sir, could you just let us know what happened for this year?
Yes, I started rehabbing the house in Crown Point, and I started a new career in home inspection. I totally forgot.
Gotcha.
You know, and I came in last month or so and tried to take care of it.
Okay, as we tell everybody, we extend this courtesy usually only one time, so keep that in mind going forward.
Sure.
Make sure you, between January 1st and April 15th.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm going to make a recommendation to waive the late fees for both units for 2022.
I'll concur.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. 6542 Rhode Island. Mm-hmm. 2022, okay, good.
6542 Rhode Island, this is a single-family home with the owner listed taking ownership of in December 15th of 2015. There was previous late action back when they first took ownership of the property, so for 2015 and 16, it went through Smithsburg 6, they cleared it, and then they registered on time every year since then. But we're here for 2022 with a single-family home.
Okay.
Could you tell us what happened this year, ma'am?
It was time slipped past and I forgot to actually renew it. And once I found out that it was the 15th, that was the max, I did reach out. I actually came here and I just explained to them like we always pay on time. We were never late, and I wanted to see if I could waive it, and they actually told me that I had to come to court to do that, to try to do that. So I just want to let you know that we are a property management company. We're usually in compliance, and it was just a little minor forgetfulness,
Okay.
I should say.
Okay, I'm going to make a recommendation to waive the late fees only because there's been a long period of time since 15 or 16. But keep in mind going forward that you might not get that courtesy the next time,
Absolutely.
so make sure you get it paid on time. Okay?
Absolutely.
So my recommendation is to waive the late fee for 2022.
And I'll concur.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. And we can take care of this as soon as the meeting adjourns today. Anything further, Nick? That's it? All right. Item 12, meetings open to the public. Anyone here have anything to speak for the board? Mr. Moore? Good. Talk about that vet you own? No?
I doubt it.
Okay, I'll show you in a minute.
Okay, I'll make a recommendation to adjourn the meeting.
And I'll concur.